Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in the video today, and today we're going to be recapping the Houston Texans game from yesterday as the Texans lost yesterday against the Miami Dolphins 28-3 and their second preseason game. We saw some good things from CJ Stroud, as I think he played like 4 or 5 drives but played the whole first half. I know a lot of people are saying like the offense wasn't that good yesterday, which it wasn't. But I was at the game and I was looking at the time of possession. If you look at the time of possession on offense, which is not, full, this is mostly to fully blame to the defense right here, a little bit to the offense for not having longer drives, but also the defense for not being able to stop the Dolphins' offense. The Dolphins killed the Texans in time of possession in this game. If the Texans were able to, have a little bit better of, even the score with time of possession, maybe the Texans would have scored more than 3 points in this game, but they couldn't get their offense going either. They had a couple of drives where, they were getting down the field, but then, something would happen, either a penalty or a loss of yardage to, bring them down and not, able to score. So it was just a tough game for the Texans, but I do think we saw some good things from some of the rookies. No Tank Dell in this ball game, but we saw CJ Stroud and Will Anderson Jr. Stroud looked good through 7 for 12 with 60 passing yards. I'm mainly going to be demonstrating CJ Stroud's drive where the Texans scored a field goal. You saw some good passes. The first completion Stroud threw in this ball game was a 6-yard pass to Nico Collins. Wasn't that great of a throw. I mean, it was a decent throw, but it wasn't that far of a throw. Collins did most of the work running to the sideline for some extra yardage. And then Stroud started to get going in that drive. He threw a slant pass to Nico Collins, which Nico took it up to the 50-yard line. And then the next play, he scrambled to the right side and threw the ball up for wide receiver Noah Brown, completed that to the 35-yard line. But Stroud, who was all the way back to the 40-yard line scrambling, that was a 25-yard throw for Stroud. He threw that ball 25 yards in the air, but it was a gain of 15. And so then I think at this time they were on the 35-yard line, and he threw they were on the 35-yard line or maybe the 34, and he threw a really nice pass, 11-yard throw to Robert Woods. I thought it was a great pass by him, and that was for a first down. Then he threw a couple passes to Dalton Schultz. Dalton Schultz had 10 receiving yards with 2 receptions. One of his receptions was for 6 yards, and one was for 4. But I think only one of those receptions by Schultz was on the scoring drive. And then the Texans had to settle for 3, and that's where Kaimi Fairbairn came on to kick I think in that scoring drive, Stroud threw the 4-yard pass. Yeah, he threw the 4-yard pass to Schultz to get it to the 18, and then that's when Fairbairn came on and kicked the 35-yard field goal. That was the only kick we saw of Fairbairn because he did not kick in the first game when the Texans beat the Patriots 20-9. So yeah, I liked what I saw from Stroud in that scoring drive where the Texans scored a field goal. But besides that, we didn't see anything really. I mean, we didn't see him use his, you didn't see him use his legs, which is something he did a couple times in the first preseason game. I wanted to see more of that from CJ Stroud. But I liked what we saw from him. I like what we saw from wide receivers like Noah Brown and Nico Collins in that drive. I thought both of them did really solid. Collins had 21 receiving yards in that drive. Brown had 15. And Robert Woods had that 11-yard catch. And then Schultz had 10 receiving yards as well. Other guys I really liked what I saw. Johnny Johnson III had a couple catches, but I think those receptions were right after I left. I like what I saw from Mike Boone. He had a big reception to take it down the field for the Texans. I think it was about a 25-yard. It was a 24-yard reception. That was a really good screen pass for Mike Boone where he got the Texans down the field, but they were still not able. On a 24-yard play, Texans got down the field a little bit past midfield. They were still not able to score on that drive. And I thought Mike Boone looked really good, had 3 other receptions for 11 yards. I thought he looked really good for the second straight week. He also had 12 rushing yards. I mean, Dameon Pierce, I thought he looked good as well. In his 6 carries, had 15 rushing yards. I thought he had some rushes, which was, I think it was the 7-yard rush that I'm referring to, where, could have been tackled for about a 3-yard gain, but kept pushing for another 3 or 4 yards. I thought Pierce looked really good in this game for the Texans in the couple of drives he played with 6 carries and 15 yards. And then getting to the defense with Will Anderson Jr., there was multiple guys on the defense. I liked what I saw. But before I get into the defense, I have one more player that I liked what I saw on offense, and that was Steven Sims. He is really impressing me for the Houston Texans. He had a really good catch in this game. I think it was sometime in the second quarter, maybe the third quarter. I think Mills threw it to him. I'm pretty sure. So if Mills threw it to him, it was the third quarter. But he had a really good catch, one reception for 12 receiving yards. But then the big play by Steven Sims that I really liked, which could have been all the way for the Texans, should have been probably. You would have seen 10 on the scoreboard for the Texans, if maybe even more, because maybe the Texans would have got momentum from that play. But you did see Steven Sims get a kickoff return and returned the kickoff return for a total of 43 yards and was one tackle away. If there was one tackle, and if he doesn't get brought down, it was like maybe, I think it was probably around midfield, a little bit past midfield. If he doesn't get brought down on that tackle, he's probably all the way for the touchdown. I liked what we saw from Steven Sims. I think we have a really good kick returner in Houston. Honestly, with that kick return that he had today, I think he has to be the favorite, to be the Houston Texans kick returner for 2023. With that kick return for a 43-yard kick return. Also, if you need him to play at wide receiver, he can do it and be decent at it. I think he's going to make the 53-man roster. I really liked what I saw from him, not only at wide receiver, but also on that kick return, which was a 43-yard return. Nobody was even remotely close to that return. The best return after that was Adam Humphries with 22 yards. So I do believe that Steven Sims will be the kick returner for the Houston Texans in 2023. Getting to the defense, how about the third overall pick, Will Anderson Jr.? Have yourself a day. Your first sack, and not only in your first sack, it's a forced fumble. It's a strip sack. Will Anderson almost had his first fumble recovery in the NFL. I know it's preseason, but still great play by Anderson. Now, he wasn't being blocked by any offensive lineman on this play. He got through the running back, which is not as hard as getting through an offensive lineman. But I thought Anderson did a great job just going straight to the quarterback. Some of the plays he was making today, people might get upset about this, but some of the plays he was making, especially the sack, reminded me a lot like J.J. Watt. That sack, seeing that, the way he brought down the quarterback, it reminded me like a J.J. Watt sack. I think we have something really special in Houston here with Will Anderson Jr. He had 2 really good plays today with 2 tackles, yesterday. He had the sack where he brought that with the strip sack and basically a forced fumble, but the Texans, he forced the fumble but was not able to recover. And then you would see it was a play where the Dolphins were on the 7-yard line and Tua bobbled the ball. That was a bad snap, and Tua was about to get brought down, about to get sacked for safety. And who was there to bring Tua down? Will Anderson Jr., although when Tua was right about to get brought down, he was able to slip it to Dolphins running back Raheem Mostert, and I'm pretty sure Will Anderson was the one who made the tackle. Although the Texans did not, Will Anderson did not get that tackle for loss, because after all that, there was a 5-yard penalty. I can't remember what the penalty was. So, Will Anderson made the play, looked really good on the play, but there was a flag on the Dolphins, and instead of the ball being spotted at the 1-yard line from the tackle from Anderson, there was a flag and was spotted at the 2-yard line. But Anderson made the play there, brought the pressure, and once Tua gave it to Mostert, Anderson was there to make the play. I really liked what we saw from Will Anderson. And then Denzel Perryman, I think he's looked great throughout camp, and from what I've seen from him. Today he had 4 tackles, had an interception on the first play. I thought he's been playing really good. Another guy I've really liked looking out there was Jalen Petrie. He made 2 tackles against the run. We've been hearing stuff that he's really improved, on the defending the run, and he showed that today. I keep saying today, but he really showed that yesterday. And then Neville Hewitt, he was a guy who was playing in the third and fourth quarter, but he's been on. This is going to be his third season on the team, but he led the Texans in tackles. I thought he really looked good. He had 7 tackles, and I thought he looked really good for the Texans. Corey Littleton at the linebacker looked really good as well. He could be a starter at linebacker, but I doubt it. Another guy like Jake Hansen looked really good with 5 tackles. And even undrafted rookie Adedeoye, which I probably said that wrong, had a sack as well. And Christian Harris looked pretty solid too, and so did rookie Henry Tuoto. But yeah, I thought this Texans defense, they didn't look great, but I thought the first unit of the defense didn't look too bad. Now, the rest of the defense, not so much. The Dolphins, Skylar Thompson was absolutely just balling out in this game through 3 touchdown passes, was driving this Dolphins offense down the field. Unbelievable. The Dolphins only had 1 punt in this ball game, and I think they only had there was only 2 possessions that the Dolphins had in this ball game that they did not score. That was the interception, and that was the interception, and that was the punt, the 1 punt that they had. So this Dolphins offense was amazing yesterday, and they had a really good game. But I thought the first unit of defense, the starters, they weren't great, but I thought they were good. They showed some solid things from guys like Will Anderson Jr. to Jalen Petrie and to Denzel Perryman as well. The user thoughts in the game. I thought the Texans did really solid. Offense wasn't great, but at the same time, the offense wasn't out there very long. I thought the defense showed some good things, but at the same time, really mostly struggled. But at the same time, they showed some good things. This is a good game for the Texans because now, you had the win, you felt good, but now you have this bad loss, and you try to get some improvement off of the bad loss, which I think is a good thing for the Texans. Improve from last week. D'Amico's going to be hard on these guys going into this final preseason game. And I think this loss is going to ultimately be a good thing for the Texans. And I thought the defense with the first unit, the starters on the defense showed some solid things. But user thoughts, that's for the video if you guys enjoyed it, and peace out. Go Texans.